news that's coming in from Nepal, viewers. The Prime Minister of Nepal has resigned. KP Sharma Oli has resigned. Remember, the protesters had been asking, demanding for his resignation, accusing him of corruption. Now we have that news coming in. Remember, there was a lot of speculation since yesterday as far as the Prime Minister's resignation is concerned. Now that resignation coming in from the Nepalese Prime Minister. Big news that is coming in from Nepal. The entire government now collapsing with the Prime Minister's resignation. Let me go across to Priyank, my colleague. Priyank, this is big news that is coming in from Nepal. This was something that the protesters had been demanding since yesterday. KP Sharma Oli resigning.
Yes, it is clear that a breaking news which is coming out from Nepal after the 2 days protest and the massive violence which has been seen on the streets of Nepal. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has finally resigned after his whole cabinet has already put forward their resignation. The 21 MPs from his party had already resigned, and they were a massive protest where we have seen that the VVIPs have also been shifted from their residences towards the army cantonment, which is in a nearby area known as Maharajganj. In army, Maharajganj barracks, these VVIPs have been shifted. So there was very little hope for the KP Sharma Oli to not resign, because he could see that the whole of the cabinet had already put forward their resignation. Then the MPs had also resigned. And now the big information coming out from neighboring state Nepal is that KP Sharma Oli has also put forward his resignation, and he will now not be the Prime Minister of Nepal. It is also important because in the backdrop of the Gen Z protests, there was certainly mobilization of the political party leaders who wanted a regime change. The youth were also fed up with the kind of corruption which is happening in Nepal and the kind of unemployment which was rising in the country. Now, KP Sharma Oli will not be the Prime Minister of Nepal. He has put forward his resignation, and that's a big information coming out from Nepal after 2 days of massive protests which happened across the country.
That's right. Let me also go across to my colleague Rishabh, who's getting us more on this. Rishabh, another civilian government in Nepal now collapsing. Prime Minister Oli, there was speculation that he's going to be resigning. There were growing demands of it. There's also speculation that he might leave the country. All right, I'm told that we will be connecting with Rishabh in a short while from now. But ladies and gentlemen, this is the big development that has happened in Nepal. The Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli resigning, extremely crucial as far as the country's political stability is concerned. Remember, another civilian administration now collapsing in Nepal. There has been a constant tussle in Nepal between the monarchy and the civilian governments, and this time around, once again, a civilian administration seeing chaos, instability, as well as the resignation of the Prime Minister. We'll keep getting you more on this, but remember, this is coming in after growing demands of his resignation. KP Sharma Oli, the Prime Minister of Nepal, resigning. We'll of course have to see whether or not he leaves the country. That speculation remains rife at the moment. There were choppers that were seen earlier that had been flown into Kathmandu. So we'll have to wait and watch how the situation really unfolds in Nepal as we speak. I have my colleague Rishabh back with us on the broadcast. Rishabh, KP Sharma Oli's resignation comes amid growing demands of him stepping down from the post. Not just that, but Nepal is seeing yet another civilian administration caught in turmoil, caught in political instability, and finally a collapse.
Well, definitely. See, since 2008, since the Federal Republic of, Nepal has come into presence, and there have been prime ministers who have come in and went out. There hasn't been a single prime minister who has completed the 5-year term. KP Sharma Oli himself is the longest serving prime minister in these 15 years, who has served for, first term for 3 years, 8 months, and now for about 13 months, what we're given to understand. So in a way, there is political instability, and this has left the youngsters on ground in Nepal really frustrated. Given that there is no continuity, there is always a political game between the parties, and whoever comes to power tries to remain in power, doing whatever possible. That has left the whole system of Nepal corrupt. And now that, the parties, the alliance partners have threatened that they will resign, KP Sharma Oli had no other option but to resign, given that his party, the Nepal Communist Party, was not in full majority. His UML faction of NCP is not in full majority, and he was supported by Nepali Congress and other smaller parties. When they decided that they will resign, and ministers after ministers started sending in resignation, Oli realized that it is an end game, and before things go further out of hand, he has resigned. How things unfold from here, it is yet to be seen. Whether army will take over, whether president will rule till new elections are called in, that is something that needs to be seen. Also, whether Prachand will be able to get support and claim the prime ministerial post. Remember, this happens in Nepal, that one prime minister goes, opposition garners the support, becomes the prime minister, again that goes. So this has been something that has happened in Nepal. So we'll have to wait and see how things unfold from now. Oli's resignation is not the end to this crisis. Whether there will be snap polls, A, whether there will be other parties coming together and forming another fractured government, B, or C, whether president will take over along with army and till things get normal, this will go on like this. That is something that we'll have to wait and see how things unfold. If there is snap poll, it again will be interesting that whether the voters will choose among Prachand, or for that matter Deboa or KP Oli or Koirala, or they'll look for a next-gen leader to lead Nepal and have a political stability.
Which is what I was coming to next, Rishabh. We just had a former Miss Nepal, Sarisha Shrestha, joining us on Times Now a short while back. And she said the protesters want a next generation leadership. We want newer generation to come up, be the political forces that lead Nepal to development. And that is something going to be interesting if at all Nepal is able to achieve that kind of stability. At the moment, of course, it's going through a lot of chaos, Rishabh. But as far as these new generation leaders are concerned, it's going to be interesting to see whether they come from within the already established political parties or they form their own new parties.
Well, see, the Communist Party, who have ruled Nepal for most of the time, one faction or other, either it was Prachand's faction of Communist Party or Oli's faction of Communist Party, they have ruled for the maximum time in last 15-20 years for that matter. But, they came from a revolution as well. They had armed rebellion against the monarchy. Then they came in mainstream contested elections. One, Prachand happened to be the first Prime Minister of the Federal Republic of Nepal from 2008. He remained there for 1 year. Then came others, and Prime Minister after Prime Minister, things have changed. Now the major forces, political forces in Nepal were Prachand and KP Sharma Oli, and the seats kept swinging between the two, given that Madhav Nepal has now been sidelined by all political parties. So now that the new elections come in, whether these parties, the Nepali Congress or the Communist Party of Oli faction or Communist Party of Prachand faction, will they continue to contest elections and their leaders will form the government again? That looks like a very...
Rishabh, let me come back to you. Right now, we are getting our viewers the details of the resignation that has been tendered by Nepalese Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli. My colleague Swati has more on that from this particular letter. Swati, get us more details of what he's written in that letter.
Absolutely. So, Shreya, we have the resignation letter here of KP Sharma Oli that he has sent to the president, and this is a letter in Nepali. I'll quickly first read it in Nepali and then tell you what it means in English. Sanmaniya Rashtrapati Ji. So he is addressing the president here. He says Sambat 2081. It's year 2081 in Nepal, and the date is 31st. So he says 31 गते नेपालको संविधानको धारा 76(2) बमोजिम प्रधानमन्त्री नियुक्त भएकोमा हाल मुलुकमा उत्पन्न असामान्य परिस्थितिलाई ध्यानमा राख्दै संविधान सम्मत राजनीतिक निकासका र समस्या समाधानको थप पहलको लागि संविधानको धारा 77(1) बमोजिम आज एक मिति देखी लागू होने गरी प्रधानमंत्री पदबाट राजीनामा दिएको छु. So he's talking about the current situation in Nepal. He says keeping that in mind, he's stepping down from this position, and he also says that this is being done by him to look for a samadhan or solution now to ensure that the situation is resolved. राजनीतिक निकासकार समस्या समाधान को थप पहल को लागी. So he wants an initiative now to be taken to resolve the issue, to ensure peace, and keeping that in mind, as per the Nepalese constitution, Article 77(1) of the Nepalese constitution, he is stepping down from the post of Prime Minister of Nepal. Here is his name, KP Sharma Oli. He signed this letter and sent it to the President of Nepal. Shreya.